they read Rhodes. Now when you understand that Clinton is a Rhodes Scholar, and who Cecil Rhodes is, he's famous in Africa. All over Africa, they know who Cecil Rhodes was. And he might have been a lot of things, but decent wasn't one of them. He was there, he was called an empire builder, because he was the builder of the British Empire. He worked directly for the Rothschilds to take over all the mining and all the precious things in Egypt and Africa for England. Yeah, I'm just going to run through some of this. That's why pyramids are everywhere now. And I was surprised to see how many pyramids and triangles you have in Atlanta. Everything's pyramids here. Right. Yeah, you better look at that pyramid. Because America is referred to by Freemasons as the New Egypt. That's why they got a pyramid on the back of the dollar bill, the Washington Monument, and all this other stuff is Egyptian. Because America is referred to as the New Egypt, and the Mississippi is the New Nile. That's why you have all those cities that's on the Nile on the Mississippi. New Cairo and Memphis and Tupelo and all those cities, because it all has to do with the Nile in Egypt. And here we have Arco, like the Arco sign is the pyramid looking down with no capstone. This is the Phrygian Kappa Revolution. I won't get into that. It's too involved. We have the Shell oil sign. It's nothing more than the sun rising over the triangles of Freemasonry. You'll see the same kind of symbolism. Say like at the Panorama Mall, there's the same idea. The concept is that the sun is rising, and it has to do, of course, with the Masonic symbolism of the coming of a dawn when the sun will rise on a new world order. That goes back to Egypt. Incidentally, the original god of the sun in Egypt was Horus, and he came up in the morning. He was the risen one. That's because that's what the sun does, is rise. And so he was our risen Savior. And if you don't think the sun is our Savior, wait till it don't come up. And so therefore, the sun was our risen Savior. And so he was a newborn babe each morning who was born again. And consequently at 12, he became known as high noon. 12 was high noon. Why? Because he had gone as high as it's going to get. At 12 noon, it don't get no higher. Therefore, it's at 12 noon that he is the most high. Now he is God the Father, the most high in heaven. And at night, when it goes down, the Prince of Darkness comes out. The boogeyman's going to get you, and the Prince of Darkness comes out. And his name was Seth. And he came out of sunset. And, when you get into all this symbolism, you find out there's no Messiah coming back to save you. The whole thing is based on some very profound spirituality that was understood by the ancient Egyptians and is totally lost on the American public. On Europe, they didn't understand none of it. All they know is big top pee-wee, punkamania, make a buck, and do some business. And that's fooling with some very profound spiritual things that they're going to find out when it backfires on them. Here you have the double square. The double square is the interweaving of order and disorder, the 90 degree and the 45 degree, which ultimately created a harmonious design. The double square is bringing together disharmony, chaos with order. That's why so many of, there it is again, you'll see it in Masonic, the double square. It's used many places, the octagon. If you connect the outside pieces, the outside legs, you will find that's the stop sign, America's stop sign, or the octagon of the double square is bringing order out of chaos. I'm going to go through this real quick because I want to go through this so you can at least see this. Here it is, the octagon central lobby of the House of Parliament, the double square of Freemasonry. Here's the Queen. She wears the double square of Freemasonry, the Masonic cross on her crown. Here's the double cross that's used in Eastern religions. The double cross is used in all the different religious orders, and there it is on the exon. The seven-pointed star, the mystic star. I'm just running through these just to give you an idea how symbols affect us. Seven-pointed star. The mystic star is 7 points. That's why we have a 7-candle lampstand. 7 is a very important number because it goes back to the ancient 7 gods of the ancient world. Mercury, Venus, Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, the Sun, and the Moon. The 7 ancient gods. And that's why today I don't have a damn thing for the 7-candle lampstand, because I understand it means the 7 little lights of the heavens. Okay, so anyway, getting back to the 7-pointed star. Oh, incidentally, in the middle, you've got the 5-pointed pentagram. Penta means 5 in Latin, so you get the 5-pointed pentagram. As a matter of fact, I have some other pictures better than this, so we'll go on with it. Anyway, the 7-pointed star. It's used in Enochian magic. It's used by the Highway Patrol. A lot of police departments use the 7-pointed star. Here we have the origin and significance of the Magen David, or the Star of David, the origin and significance from one of the reference books. The principal source of information is connected to the cult of the planet Saturn. Saturn was worshipped in Jerusalem as the god of Jerusalem. Saturn, and his temples always had the 6-pointed hexagram. That's why the ancient peoples would draw the hexagram on the 6-pointed star on the opposing triangle, step inside of it and put the curse on you, put the hex on you. Here it is from the sun symbol even further back than that. The sun symbol in the old Hindu India was the 6-pointed hexagram. Nothing new. Here in Los Angeles, we've got the ABC towers over here on the right. As a matter of fact, the ABC towers are triangles. Put them together, make a Star of David. ABC towers in Los Angeles. Here we have the 5-pointed hexagram. Generally, the inverted pentagram is regarded as representing evil. That's Anton LaVey, the minister of the Church of Satan in San Francisco. And we've seen that 5-pointed pentagram pointing down, demonic. Yeah, Satan worshippers use it.
Eastern Star.
Yeah, Eastern Star. Yeah. So the 5-pointed pentagram, generally the inverted pentagram is regarded as representing evil. Okay? Again, we have it in relation, showing a relation to the devil, the 5-pointed pentagram pointing down. Here we have the first synagogue in New York at the B'nai B'rith in New York, and in the middle you'll see the 5-pointed pentagram pointing down. Here we have the Ordo Ab Chao, the Sovereign Grand Commander of Freemasonry, and there is the Ordo, I think I've got it closer, yeah, Ordo Ab Chao, and the double-headed eagle. Incidentally, when you see the double-headed eagle on Masonic lodges, the reference books say the double-headed eagle stands for the ability of Freemasonry to oversee the East and the West. They take care of business in both places, in the East and the West. They're the boss. And it's always perched on the sword of war, the sword of the state. And on the banner is Ordo Ab Chao, order out of chaos. So they create chaos, then they come in and put it down, and now you got a new order. The 33rd degree, always on the triangle, 33rd. The reason why Freemasons have a 33rd degree, because Jesus was supposed to have died at 33. And consequently, you can't go any higher than the sun. So therefore, it's the 33rd degree. Incidentally, when the sun moves into each one of the 12 houses of the zodiac, or the 12 apostles, the 12 apostles are the 12 brothers of Joseph, and the 12 tribes of Israel, and the 12 apostles, and the 12 this, and the 12 that. That all goes back to Egypt and the 12 signs of the zodiac in the 12 months of the year that help God's Son, the risen one, the risen Son. And consequently, when you see all of these symbols and emblems, they all mean something. But the 33rd degree, each one of the sun moves into each one of the constellational, every 2,100 and some odd years, the sun moves in at the 30th degree of each constellation, and when it left at the 33rd degree. So the ancient people said that God's son begins his ministry at 30 and dies at 33. So, and it's at this point I want to quickly run past something. Did you realize that every year the sun moves on the sundial? In the ancient world, the sun moves 360 degrees on the sundial, and that each day it moved 1 degree. And when it reached its lowest point in the southern sky, the last lowest point in the southern sky brought on the first day of winter, and it was called a winter solstice, and that happens each year on December 22nd. The sun keeps moving further and further south until it finally stops, and it goes as far south as it's going to go, and it stops on the sundial. And that's on December 22nd. But something happens every year that a lot of people don't know. On the sundial, for December 23rd and 24th, the sun comes up and it's still on the same place on the sundial, on the same degree. It didn't move one way or the other. Therefore, the ancient people said that the sun was moving all year long, therefore it's alive, but now it's dead for 3 days, and it's in his tomb. God's son is in the tomb for 3 days. He's dead for 3 days. Then on December 25th, it begins to come back to our northern hemisphere. So on December 25th, it moves 1 degree on the sundial. Consequently, the ancients said anything that was dead and buried for 3 days and is now moving has come back to life. So now God's son is born. So therefore, we worship the son being born on December 25th, Christmas. Now, when it comes, it's been born on December 25th, and the most important point is it now comes back to the first week of spring. And in the first week of spring, it has now brought life back to the earth, therefore it is resurrected. The sun is now doing what it normally does, because in the winter it was dead and wasn't doing nothing. Now it comes back to the spring, and it has now reestablished life on the earth, therefore is resurrected, and we call that Easter. God's son is resurrected. Of course the son is resurrected. It's spring. But in the ancient world, when someone died, they said, and we still do today, they used the word passed, like grandmother passed last night, or they passed on, or she passed away, or they passed this or passed that. The word was passed, which means you died. Well, in the ancient world, they called it passing over, because you were dead and now you've gone on, and so you passed over to the next life. You passed over. So consequently, once a year in the first week of spring, the ancient people in the Middle East celebrated the son who was dead in winter, but he's done passed over into the new life in spring. So they celebrated the first week of spring, and they call it the Passover. And the other people come in to Jerusalem and say, this is a good story, we could use this. You'll spray paint it, lacquer it up, put a little few Hollywood, put Charlton Heston in there or something, dress it all up, and we call it the Passover. The Passover is the sun passing over from the death of winter to the new life of spring. That's why Christians celebrate the Passover. We call it resurrection. God's son come back to life. Simple. All it is Baal worship. The Judaic-Christian system is nothing more than worshiping the old ancient sun god Baal, of Baal worship. Now in the ancient land of Canaan, which we call today, it was called Phoenicia or Canaan, but today we call it Israel. That area we call Israel today was at one time called in the ancient world Canaan. And consequently, the first week of spring was always celebrated in Canaan and was called the marriage feast of Canaan, in which Mother Earth asked God's son to draw water so it could rain on the grapes so we could get loaded on the first week of spring and celebrate sex, alcohol, and the coming of life on the earth again. That's why everybody had a spring wedding. Because in the spring, young man's thoughts turn to women, wine, and celebrating life again. So the ancient people in Canaan call it the marriage feast of Canaan, where Mother Earth asked God's son to draw water to make new grapes with the wine so we can celebrate spring. The whole thing is nothing more than the worship of Baal. Baal, going back to, as I said, Baal worship of Baal worship. Order of chaos everywhere. Order out of chaos. These people are creating chaos, and then they bring us a new order. From chaos to control. Incidentally, that's why we had the television series. Remember the comedy Get Smart? When somebody tells you to get smart, they're implying you better wake up. And Get Smart had two sides, remember? Chaos and control. Okay? I could go on like this for hours, but I'm not going to. I think we've gone far enough. I could go on. Normally I do 8 to 10 hour seminars, and sometimes I do 3 10-hour seminars, so that's how much we could still go on. But basically, I'd like to thank you for being here with me, and I want you to take away one thing with you, that your spirituality is between you and your Creator. It has nothing to do with religion or government. And anytime you give over your spirituality and your intellect to any government, any organization, or any church, or any religion, no matter what it is, you are dishonoring that God who has a special connection with you. Consequently, that's the basis of our freedom, is our spirituality and our connection with that universal God force. And they got nothing to do with this stuff we call around us, the church or government. And thank you very much.